Hi, my name is Carl Henson and this is my Unit 6 Undertaking and Review of Work Experience. So, firstly, I'll take you to a Word document which is evidence of me completing my work experience here. Here we have the name of the supervisor, Dulcie, the contact details, the email, sports industry, overview of placement, so sort of like what I've done. So I followed PT, so sort of shadowed them, I cleaned up, so like maintenance, and joined in the sessions, completed 30 hours, location and times, which I'll explain later. Dulcie's confirmed that I've taken the work experience, and as you can see it's been signed and dated here. So what I've done during the work experience, as you can see on Monday, had an early start, worked 7 till 5 during the day. So it was my first day there, so I spent some time getting to know everyone. Also done some cleaning to get familiar with the gym and everything, such as like hoovering. I cleaned some of the equipment down, and I also mentioned to them that I was doing a level 2 fitness instructor course. So we took things apart, such as like a rowing machine, treadmills, steppers, things like that, and then we cleaned the inside to make sure that all the belts and everything they were all okay. Such as putting the weights away as well. So some people were a bit lazy during the gym. They tend to, for example, on a bench press, a lot of people just leave the weights on there after, whereas it would be my job to go take them off and make sure that the gym is nice and clean. Tuesday, so afternoon start, with an 8 o'clock finish, and I spent most of the day with the PT Kyle. And the reason for this was because I was asked to go clean again. I asked if I could shadow Kyle today, as I knew that he was in for the same time as me. So we had 4 clients that day. 2 of them were well, one of them was about 60, the other one was mid-30s, and the other 2 were quite young. One of them I think was 19, and the other one was around 26, mid-20s. And yeah, it was very interesting to see how things work. So for example, with the 2 younger lads, we sort of focused more on muscular strength for the person that was mid-20s, and sort of hypertrophy for the younger man. And then the 2 older adults that we had, one of them was a female who wanted to work on her cardiovascular and respiratory system. So we've done a lot of cardio work, such as running on the treadmills. We did do some weights, but she didn't want to put on any weight or gain any muscle mass. So we kept low weight but high reps. The other person wanted, it was a mixture. We done the first half of cardiovascular training, and then we done the second half of resistance training. So we done a little bit, half the session on like running, rowing, building the respiratory system up and cardiovascular system up, and then the other half sort of focusing on building and developing muscles. Wednesday again, afternoon start with a 8 o'clock finish. I worked with a recovery therapist called Jordan. Now what he specialises in is someone that has an injury. So for example, you had a shoulder problem, or you tore a muscle in your pecs, or you're having problems with your quads, then he'll be sort of the person that you can still train, he'll still let you train, he'll still train with you, but say it come to leg day and we had to work on quads, he'd help you recover it by doing certain stretches, such as like P&F stretches. I learnt quite a few P&F stretches, and happened to watch him do a client whilst I was on the desk. He was just in front of me. And yeah, it's a lot of stretch base and sort of keeping the muscle warm and sort of working the muscle, a little bit of massage, but also he puts weights on. So for example, when we've done squats or when he done lunges with the client, he'd put weight on, but you could evidently see that that person could obviously do a lot more weight than what it was, but it was just helping the muscles inside the quads just to rebuild and make sure that there wasn't any further injuries as well. That was quite an interesting day on Wednesday. I learned a lot of new things there, and also it made me sort of go down the path of being a physiotherapist when I'm older. So once I get tired of the level 3 PT, if I do get tired of that, then I sort of have another interest that I could go down. So that's thanks to Jordan. Thursday, had a midday start, so started at 12, finished at 6 again. I worked with PT Carl, but prior to this, I'd done some cleaning again, just because it needed to be done. And as I was representing the college and I was representing myself, I was expecting to be cleaning as well, so I took it on the chin. Went and done some cleaning again, hoovered upstairs, cleaned the machines, hoovered downstairs, maintained the gym, made sure it was all nice and tidy. But after that, I asked if I could work with PT Kyle to help me with my level 2 fitness instructor exam. I had a final exam on that day, actually, on the Thursday during the evening. I had this exam, and I went through my program with him, and then he gave me any pointers, any extra tips that he could sort of give to me to help me pass my exam. I also had a portfolio that he helped me out with as well, which was quite helpful, so I got stuck and confused on a few things when I had my spare time, and I sort of asked if he could take 5-10 minutes out of his time to come and help me, and yeah, he helped me with that, which I was quite grateful for. Friday, I had a very early start. I started at 7 o'clock with a 12 o'clock finish. I worked with Dulcie this morning and helped with the morning boot camp here, so I sort of set up, me and her spoke about what activities we were going to do with the clients, and depended on numbers, depended on how many activities there were. So we done 10 activities because there was only, I think there was 8 people that turned up. And so what we started off with was, we started off with a jog around the gym. So everyone, including myself, so I sort of took the group on for the run. We done 2 laps around the gym. Then we come back into the gym, and then whilst I was going out for the run, Dulcie had set everything up. And then me and Dulcie sorted everyone out into their stations, explained what was going to happen, what we wanted them to do. And then I thought I may as well get involved with the session. That was very good as well. I'd also actually done another one on the Wednesday with Dulcie. She done called a lunchtime hit, which she does every lunchtime. And yeah, it was a similar sort of thing, like a boot camp. And this time I just participated in it, whereas on Friday she actually let me take a bit of lead with it, and sort of gave me sort of freedom and to gain experience as to what to do. So as you can see here, this is the reception area for the gym. So when I said I watched the therapist Jordan, he was over in this section here. It goes further down. So this is the reception. This is one of the rooms, which is downstairs. There's another room upstairs, which is mainly machine based, but there are some free weights up there. And as you can see in the red circles is me instructing someone here how to deadlift there, and I'm on the bench press here and here as a spot. And then deadlift more so important, making sure that he's keeping his form, things like keeping a straight back, lifting with his legs, as we don't want any injuries during the gym. So next, what I achieved during this experience, I achieved a lot of things from like improving my knowledge. So like I said, when Kyle helped me out, it sort of extended my knowledge, especially when I worked with Jordan. He's a very knowledgeable person, and I feel like that I learned a lot of things from him. I worked with a few of the staff as well, which were fantastic. All the staff were very friendly and good to get, like easy to get along with. At first I was a bit nervous to see what they were like, but yeah, once you get talking to them and everything, they sort of, you can get along with them quite quickly. I learned how to use equipment that I never used before, such as like tricep machines. I'd never seen them before. There was different machines for calves. There was a few different leg machines to pinpoint different areas of the legs, which was quite interesting. I also extended my knowledge further by learning, like when I was with Carl, what muscle groups to sort of like what works with what. So as someone that's beginning, you wouldn't mix say like chest, shoulders and biceps, because it would be too advanced for them. So if someone was just beginning, you'd probably just split it into single groups. So you'd have one day we'll do chest, one day do back, one day do shoulders, and then triceps and biceps either in between them or during one of them sessions or separately on their own. And then I learned once the body's developed, so someone that's a beginner, they won't see any improvements for the first 6 weeks, as the muscles that they already have are getting used to being trained. So it's all about having trained muscles, and you'll hear quite a lot about mind to muscle connection as well. So it sort of becomes like not muscle memory, but if you stuck to the same training plan, your body would get used to that training plan, so you wouldn't actually get any gains or anything like that. As I was saying anyway, so for example, say you become more advanced, and then you train back one day and then chest another day. The reason why I'd say this is because they are the two heaviest and hardest muscle groups out of the way early in the week. So say Monday you train chest, Tuesday you train back, because they're quite compound areas to be working. So you do things such as bench pressing, dips, incline bench presses, things like that, and like back pull-ups, lat pull-downs. They're quite compound movements. They're quite heavy, so you're going to fatigue quite quickly. Furthermore, by training chest, you'll also get good at triceps. So this is when you start to link in different muscle groups. So you wouldn't train, say, chest and biceps on the same day, because you're using your biceps to help train your chest. For example, in the bench press, the chest is the main muscle that you work in, but the support is sort of the triceps as well. So if you used to train triceps during a chest day, the triceps may already be fatigued, so you may not be able to get the full outcome or the full potential from your triceps during that day. So I would advise that, and a lot of other people as well, after doing some research, after developing this knowledge, let's say sort of train back and triceps, and then say like chest and shoulders, because when you work the back, you work your trapezius, which is near the deltoids, so your shoulders could also be quite fatigued from a back session. So by training shoulders in a chest session, sort of gives that benefit. I also got involved with a lot of activities as well, so whenever I found myself sort of sitting around doing nothing, a little bit bored, I sort of got involved and asked if there was anything that they needed me to do, or if there was anything that I could do, such as like shadowing someone else, or seeing if I could take another boot camp or something. My strengths that I identify was I always kept myself busy. I gave 100% in everything I'd done, took part in as many things as I could, and I had good communication skills and manners. For me, that one is an important one, the good communication skills and the manners, because not only am I representing the gym to the general public, I'm also representing the college, and I'm representing myself as well. My weaknesses that I identified: I didn't know how to use a computer because it was a little bit confusing with all the options that I had to do, and then taking payments and everything. And there were several codes that you had to remember for different things, so I sort of avoided that as much as I could. I gave up on certain sessions, such as boot camp, because personally I don't really train cardiovascular that much. I'm more hypertrophy and building muscle mass. So when I went on to do these sort of things, I struggled a bit, because my body wasn't used to it and everything, but once I had a breather, I got straight back up and I got straight back into it again. I got bored when there was nothing to do. However, the fact that I had my level 2 fitness instructing course to do, a qualification to do as well, that sort of gave me something to do to pass the time, so it wasn't too bad. And I should have asked to do more shifts sort of in the evening, so I know what it's like to be in a busy environment during gym times, and to see if how messy the gym gets, how hard it is to maintain it, dealing with any customers that had any complaints, such as the gym being poorly maintained and things like that. So here I'm reviewing my strengths and my areas for improvement, so why I chose these strengths and why I chose these weaknesses, and what could I do better next time, or what would I change next time. So firstly, like I said, I always kept myself busy. So after finishing one job, I always asked if there was another job, if there anything else that they needed to do, or if they'd either be like, oh yeah, could you go clean this, or oh yeah, could you go do this, or oh, go plan this session for this day, or go plan this session for this lunchtime, or they'd be like, oh, you can go and train, so they'd give me like an hour or so to go and train, or go and see what the PT Kyle was doing to see if he had any clients available that day, if I could shadow him, things like that. I quite like that one. If I was to go back to the gym, I think I'd spend a little bit more time with Jordan and a bit of time with Kyle, just to see what their different perspectives are, because they're both personal trainers, but one works in recovery and one works in sort of like building muscle mass or cardiovascular. I gave 100% in everything I'd done, so every job that they were given to me, I sort of, I've done it as if I worked there, so it showed that I was interested in what I wanted to do. So obviously going into the sporting industry, put 100% of my effort into it. Also, I paid full attention to everything that was said to me, which also helped me learn new things as well. So sort of just by paying attention and by listening to people, sort of opened my knowledge a little bit more, and I sort of started to write things down, and then I done further research, and it also sort of jogs the PT Jordan and Carl's memory as well. So if I had a question, I'd be like, oh, I've forgotten about that. I'd have to research that. So it sort of helped them remember sort of some of the things that they've forgotten as well. I took part in as many things as I could do. Obviously, my shifts were very limited, so there's only a certain amount of things that I could do during these shifts. I took part in most of the classes, even if I didn't like them, such as the boot camp, so that I could get familiar with how the classes were set up. So if I wanted to go and set up my own boot camp, at least I'm familiar with how these sort of sessions run, what sort of activities to include, how long they should be, what the rest times are like, if there's any rest times, because it could be continuous training. So yeah, I took part in some sessions. Like I said, Dorsey sort of let me coach some lessons, so she let me run through the lunchtime session as well. Good communication skills and manners. I always made sure that I remembered my manners and was polite to staff and the public, again, as I was representing the gym, the college, but most importantly myself. Moving on to my weaknesses now. Like I said, I didn't know how to use the computer, so I avoided it. By doing this, it seems to me that it could seem to them that I avoid challenges. However, this isn't the case. I just didn't want to make any mistakes. However, after reviewing this and going back and saying, oh, why did I choose this as my weakness, I then realised work experience is all about making mistakes. So I shouldn't have shied away from making any mistakes. I should have just committed to it. If I had made a mistake, that's the reason why I'm there, is to make mistakes, learn from them, so then when I go into the real industry, I don't make these mistakes. I gave up in certain sessions, such as the boot camp, as I didn't enjoy them. Again, after reviewing this, perhaps I should have done more boot camps or worked on my cardio during the 3 hour that I was given to go train. So maybe work on my cardiovascular fitness and see if one of the PTs were free as well to take me through a cardiovascular session, just so that when I become a level 3 personal trainer, I'm aware of how these sort of things work. I got bored when there was nothing to do. Again, during this time I should have gone and shadowed someone or gone and asked someone to help me with my work. So again, after reviewing that, I should have thought, okay, maybe I shouldn't have just sat there and done nothing for that hour. I should have got up, even gone looked around the gym, or even helped people out. So if their form was wrong and I could identify that they were deadlifting wrong, or they were benching wrong, or they were just moving weights wrong, then I could have picked them up on that. I should have asked to do more evening shifts, so I know what it's really like during busy periods. As I only live 15 minutes away from the gym, again after reviewing it, I think that evening shifts would have been more beneficial to see what the gym was like whilst they were busy. However, I would have liked even like 50-50, say like 2 early days and then the rest were evenings, just because I probably wouldn't have spent enough time or any time with any of the PTs, so I may have not picked up any knowledge that I picked up whilst I was there. If I could change anything, if I was to go do this again, I'd definitely ask a lot more questions. I wouldn't shy away from any challenges, and I'll just do the same, give 100% in everything I do, and remember my manners. So next, for the distinction, we're on a Word document again. if we scroll down here, is my development plan. So my aims, what do I want to achieve if I was to go there again next time? So I said, if I was to do this again, I would do it whilst I'm doing my level 3 personal trainer course, which would be next year. As this would help me through the course again, as it helped me through my level 2 fitness instructor course. And I may be given the chance to take some people on a session. So like Dulcie let me do the boot camp. Kyle might let me make a program and take it through one of his clients. My objectives are how am I going to achieve the aims? The way I would achieve my aims would be that I would ask to do these things. So I would be like, oh Kyle, do you reckon I could make a program and see if one of your clients liked it, give me some like feedback, things like that, what I could do better. Give myself options by asking to set up my own classes. So again with Dulcie, I'd ask her, could I do my whole complete boot camp all independently by myself, and then she may have let me do that. And made sure that I sort of got the best for my career. So again, just asking questions, being attentive, making sure I'm paying attention to things. Short-term goals, so what I'd like to do within a day or a month. In one day, I would like to have taken a client through a training session and then have verbal feedback from the PT. So like I said in my objectives, how I would complete my aims, this is what I would like to do within a day. Within a month, I would have liked to have achieved independence and have the, say Kyle was heavily involved with the first session that I'd done with the client, and then say a month later, we brought the same client in, done a different program, but had sort of stepped back a little bit, so I'd become more experienced in what it's like to be a personal trainer. My medium-term goals, so support my long-term goals. I would have liked to be a good way through my course, so through my level 3 personal trainer course, I'd like to be a good way through that. Potentially come to the end and build up some form of client base so that when I finish the course, I can go straight into work and I'm sort of not waiting about. Some gyms, so I've done a few researches around this area, some gyms will take you on but you'll be self-employed, but they'll help you build the client base and they'll help you keep them clients. So say if a client was like, do you know what, I don't think it's working out for me, that I'm going to go to someone that's more specialised in cardiovascular, then they'll try and refill that space that I've just lost so that I'm not losing out on any money, not losing out on any experience or anything like that. My long-term goals, within a season or a year, I would have liked to have had a good client base by now and potentially look towards being self-employed and start my own thing with a good client base, and I would like to work in central London and earn a good living. But even further than that, I would like to potentially open my own gym, so start a business plan, invest in a loan of some sort from a bank, and then open a gym or something. My opportunities for myself, that because I am young, I'm able to do as many qualifications as I can do. So for example, after doing my level 3 personal training, I'm going to look for an extra level 3 qualification or like a level 4 qualification, something like a GP referral, just to make myself stand out, as I see it as if everyone has the same qualification, then it's just going to be harder to get a job. Whereas if I make myself stand out by having that extra qualification, it'll be a lot easier then. Make myself stand out, which will help the fact that I'm young, because people may think, they may underestimate me because I am young. They might be like, oh, he's young, we don't really want to go towards him. So yeah, that will help me out as well. Possible obstacles. Some obstacles that I may face is transport, getting to London and back. Will cost me a fair bit of money with or without a rail card. So I've got to look at things such as travel. Will trains get delayed? Sometimes trains get cancelled. Will that affect my day? Will that affect my job? And again, sort of costs. I've got to get the train every day, which costs quite a bit. We're looking around about £130 a week from Hitchin to London, which is quite a fair amount of money. Trying to get clients will be hard if I start completely on my own, as well because of my age. Some people may underestimate me, therefore making it hard for me to build a profile and a reputation for myself. But also a lot of things are done with social media, so I need to be good at sort of self-promotion and things like that, and making sure that things like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, things like that, making my name get out there and sort of building a reputation for myself. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.